coach, Coach Smith. Love the game 24/7. Coming to you live this Sunday, Mother's Day afternoon. And I hope everybody's having a blessed Mother's Day and you're out there celebrating your mother and enjoying a great, hopefully, maybe you did a brunch, maybe you're doing dinner now or whatever um, you did. Just be sure we're showing all the love and support in that mom, and not just for today, but you know, days to come, that you show uh, that love and appreciation to your moms. And so, and also, because I know there's a lot of moms, as I talk about recruiting for you young um, male and female athletes out there, your moms are very involved with you guys going through your recruiting. And so today, I just want to come on here and talk about a little bit of the NFL minicamp update on Shador Sanders that's happening. We're getting a lot of talk about, as well as something I want to share today after talking to a young man that comes to the church on occasional visits because his uncle and aunt attends the church where I go, and he's a rising senior in football, in basketball, and he also does track and field. And just something he shared with me today just kind of was a little bit disturbing and got up under my skin. About what his coach, his high school coach, football coach, has done with the video, and I'll get more into that later. But I want to thank you guys for subscribing, um, viewing um, my my YouTube channel here on Love the Game 24/7 with your favorite coach, Coach Smith, and referee, and get all your great content and updates here on all things sports for men and women and young athletes, male and female, on the recruiting um, uh, progress that they're making and helping you guys go through that. So that's what this is today, just a little bit about that NFL minicamp update and college recruiting update, with a little story I'll share with you later today. But definitely subscribe, man, share, share this channel for all those young athletes out there, you young men and young ladies out there that are needing help. Um, and, and as I share today, you're going to know why you should be following Coach Smith, why you should be subscribing to me and following me on all my other social media platforms. I'm not going to be long here today because I got to do some live on my other platforms on TikTok, as well as Coach Smith 27 on my IG, sharing some things as well. But I just want to come on here today and just let you guys know, it's just great hearing all the stuff that's going on with Shador and the support that he's getting out there. As I've seen some great IG things where folks are saying, like the IG aunties out there, right? Uh, what a great segue for Mother's Day, because there are a lot of Instagram aunties and TikTok aunties that are following Shador, or they're newfound Cleveland Browns fans, and as some have made it very clear to the Cleveland Browns that, hey, orange and brown is not like a great color that people want to wear, especially women, but they're only showing this love to the Cleveland Browns because they drafted Shador, because they were the smart NFL organization to be sure to draft this young man, because he is highly talented, and that's hands down. That's it's hey, I was blessed to play at every level, following an older brother and having a son playing NFL football, and blessed to play at every level, coach high school football for many years, in track and field. And so I've been around the game since I've been 7 years old. So it's been many years. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I've been around this game and the sports long enough to know, game recognized game, right? Athletes know who can play ball and who can't play ball. And so when you get somebody like Shador, who is rated as high as he was, and to go in the draft as low as he did, there's something to that. So let's, wake up and smell the coffee. All right, guys, this ain't new. But hey, the young man is talented, and I've watched him since he's been a little kid. Him and Shiloh, and Shiloh's a great big brother, man. How he supports Shador, and that's great to see that as well. And the one thing that is great, how both of these young men, how they were raised by their father as well as their mom, but definitely by Dion, and about how Shador. Let me just tell you, you've never seen a fifth round draft pick get this much um, press conference time, all this stuff happening. This is not normal for a kid who was drafted in the fifth round getting this. So we know why. It's because he's not just talented, but also, yes, because he's Shador Sanders, son of Deion Sanders, And so, hey, out there, I appreciate you guys joining me. Yep. Just Coach Smith, Love the Game 24/7 YouTube channel. Appreciate the love. Be sure you subscribe now, right? And if you got any young athletes out there that need to know how to go through the recruiting process, I'm your guy, right? And so I'm just on here today, like I said, for a little bit, just sharing about how Shador Sanders being a fifth round pick and having the attention that he's having. And some people are making it more about him than the third round draft pick, right? Dylan Gabriel that they drafted. But one thing I appreciate about both of these young men is they are getting interviewed regularly and being asked questions about the quarterback room and this and that. And they're taking all that attention off themselves and put it on their teammates, which is awesome. Shador has always been great in fielding questions. And doing a great job of, you know, not buying into some of the nonsense and the negativity that could be out there. You can tell this young man was raised well, and it's refreshing. And also some of the questions that Dylan Gabriel, he knows he's a third round draft pick, right? And he probably knows as an athlete, hey, Shooter Sanders is a great quarterback, and he has said that. So we're not delusional on that. How you doing? Appreciate it, James, and uh, Lower not LA nonsense. If I said that right, appreciate you guys joining me. But like I said, I'm just here just to talk a little bit about the NFL minicamp update with the Shador Sanders and Dylan Gabriel with the Cleveland Browns. And as I said, these IG aunties and TikTok aunties are letting it be known to the Cleveland Browns that they're getting this extra love and following because of Shador Sanders and because he's a very humble young man, and Dylan Gabriel as well. And it's going to be competitive, guys, just like it should. These guys know they're competing against each other. There's no question about that. And guys don't hate on each other, right? Um, and so is as an athlete, you're not, you know who you are as an athlete, okay? And so you don't have to buy into all some of the media stuff that's going on and whatnot. So these guys are just doing a great job of, just fielding these questions and not letting certain things come in their quarterback room that doesn't need to be there, right? And these two young men are showing that they're both of them are very professional. Dylan Gabriel as well as Shador Sanders. They're showing their professionalism. Hey, I appreciate you showing the love. Thank you, James. And yes, it is pretty cool. And you said you never really watched NFL or basketball. You don't really know the rules of how to play. The things I watch is um, on basketball and boxing. Great, awesome. That's good to know, man. But yeah, well, you can follow Coach Smith and Love the Game 24/7. I'm your favorite coach and referee. I referee football, basketball, did some lacrosse this year. And so definitely you can learn a lot here being here with Coach Smith because I have a professional football background as well as having an older brother and my oldest son being a current NFL athlete. And so I've been around the game for a long time, been a student of the game, grew up playing basketball, football, running track and doing track and field. And so when I put on football camps and those things to try to help young athletes in football, earn scholarships. But my channel is not just geared towards football. It's geared towards young athletes, male and female, all right? Elementary, middle, and high school kids and parents who are trying to understand how to go through the recruiting process. And so I just wanted to come on here today to talk about the Shador Sanders development that's going on in Minicamp. He's doing a great job throwing the ball, just like he has always shown that he's very accurate and does have a strong arm. But he's more importantly, he has a good mental understanding of the game. He has a mental fortitude and strength that you need to have at that position as a quarterback. And being raised by a Hall of Fame father in Deion Sanders, you can tell that Shador and his brother Shiloh are going to be very good professional athletes. But the thing that's most impressive about them more than anything is how they don't always, keep the attention all on them. They always are very appreciative of their teammates, of their coaches, respect the game, how well they put they put a lot of hard work in. It's no surprise that they're having a success. It's not just about who their father is. Their father, of course, and they'll tell you, definitely open up the door for them. But it's up to them, right, to show that they can play the game. And they've done that since they've been kids growing up. Okay, so these young men are definitely legitimate professional prospects and should have the opportunity that they're getting and receiving. And so there's no surprise about Shador and Shiloh Sanders having opportunity. It's not just about their father's name. Both of these young men can play ball at their respective positions and have shown that they deserve every opportunity. And Dylan Gabriel deserves every opportunity as well. And we're not taking anything away from him. He's going to push Shador, and Shador is going to push him. It's going to be for the betterment of the Cleveland Browns' success. And the Cleveland Browns are in a great position with these two young men and having some of the veteran um, QBs in that room, in that QB room, that these guys can glean from and learn from. Is just going to make the Cleveland Browns that much better of an NFL team and giving them chances of definitely getting to that, pushing the envelope and getting to the Super Bowl. And so as they work and bring all that together with their QB and the offensive line, run game, I hate to see that they don't have the running back there, the veteran running back that um, name will come to me. But yeah, he's not going to be there. But they did draft two solid running backs. But it's always about experience, man. You can never go wrong with having experience. And so we'll see what happens with the offense. Definitely everything starts up front, man, and on that O line. And it's the same thing with the D line. If you're going to have a great defense, it starts up front, right? So the D line has to put pressure on the offense to where the DBs can hold down those receivers, right? And the linebackers can make plays on run game, in the run game. So it's always up front on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. You got to have a good O line and good D line, okay? And then when you have that, and it gels and comes together at the other positions, and you get in top play at those other positions, you're definitely going to be putting together an ingredients for a successful team, and so we'll see what happens, because it just makes everything much more enjoyable watching pro sports, because I'm more of a lover of college sports than I am of pro sports, but I love it all. Okay. But it's exciting to see these young men fulfill their dream. And that's what we're all about here at Love the Game 24/7, helping young men, young ladies fulfill their dream of achieving an athletic scholarship at the college level, right? And also possibly helping them secure some NIL opportunities. That's what it's all about here with Coach Smith and Love the Game 24/7 and giving you great content. And so that's why I said I'm in the process of putting together my webinar later this summer for all you parents out there and you young athletes, potential college athletes that are in high school and middle school, trying to prepare yourselves to get that dream of earning an athletic scholarship and NIL money. And so that's coming soon. I'll be giving more and more information about that. And you can always go to my website, lovethegame247.com, and get all the great information of events and things that are coming up. There's some other things in the works that I'm also doing. I'm getting ready to consider jumping on board here pretty soon with offense defense full time, and helping them out as well with their camps and things that they're doing, that I think we have some similar interests, and I'll be looking to work with them in their camps that they're going to be doing as well. I'm more into the content and giving you guys information and doing a football camp here or there, but I'm going to be doing more of the camps with offense defense from that standpoint. But there's a lot more other events and things that I'm going to be doing with my son, who's an NFL athlete, with some college bound conference, looking to bring back next spring or next summer, that I'll be putting together. And so to help all athletes and non-athletes learn about how to achieve scholarships to help supplement your college education. So it's information out there that I'll be bringing for non-athletes as well as athletes. But my main goal is for the athletes. And so there's a lot of things that are coming, and you'll be able to stay up to date with my YouTube channel, my IG channel, Coach Smith 27. But to get to me and to find all of my social media platforms, you go to my website, lovethegame247.com. You can get to any of my social media platforms via my website. And so, like I said, I'm excited to bring this webinar on athletic recruiting for male and female athletes, and for parents to be sure they get all the information, right? The insider tips from a coach. That's what it's going to be about. And so I appreciate you guys jumping on, man, and subscribing. I also have a goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers. I'm a little over 600 right now. And notice I didn't say 100,000 guys. I said 1,000. And so I'm close to that. I'm trying to make sure I pump up this YouTube channel, Love the Game 24/7, because it's definitely, I believe, something that'll help you young athletes and parents out there learn. And I'm going to share a story that I had this morning at church, um, talking to a young athlete today, this early afternoon, that kind of just solidified and just confirmed to me of why I should be doing what I'm doing, and why, it's very much needed for you young athletes, because this story that I'm going to share is more of the norm um, that happens, and why some young athletes struggle, and parents struggle with getting their male or female athlete the exposure that they need and deserve. Now, granted, we have a lot more tools. Technology has allowed us to have more tools to promote your young athletes in their sport for college recruiters. And you definitely want to be sure, as a parent, as I've always said, don't just rely on the high school coaches to do everything for you. They do have a responsibility of helping your young athlete achieve their dream and goal of getting to the next level. And if you don't see that happening when your high school athlete is in their early part of their high school career, ninth and 10th grade, if you're hearing stories and you don't see kids at your high school getting into college and being offered scholarships, then you need to consider transferring and going somewhere else. I'm just going to be real with you. One thing that irritates me the most sometimes about some high school coaches, okay, or a lot of high school coaches, is that you don't want to just ask your athletes that show integrity to your program, and then you as a coach, male or female, aren't giving that same, or you're not being reciprocal with that same effort or mentality with helping that young person achieve their dream or goal of going to play college sports at some level, whether it be Division One, Two, or Division Three, or NAIA. There's plenty of schools that you can help assist your young person, your young athlete, in showing them when they first hit your campus as a ninth grader, to show them how and what they need to do to solidify and secure themselves, a scholarship. Ultimately, it's up to you as an athlete to make sure you put in the work and the training and all those things, right? Be a great teammate, right? But you also got to be a great individual athlete and be able to take that individual talent that you have and bring it to a team and help that team achieve success. And ultimately, when you help your team achieve success, you would be recognized individually to be able to get that scholarship that you're looking for as a young man or a young lady in whatever sport it is that you're pursuing to play at the next level in college. And so, today I share with a young man who he visits periodically because he doesn't live in the area, but his uncle and aunt attend the church where I attend, and I had a chance to talk to him and his father after church and just, get an update on where he was at with his sports this season, and with his upcoming, recruiting opportunities, as he's going to be a rising senior. And as he shared with me that he did well this year in football, he's a DB, did well, pretty good in basketball season, and he's finishing up his sports for this academic year in track and field. He missed making the states, but he did get to the regional, right before states, and had some success in track and field as well. And the young man looks the part. He's a little bit taller than I am, so he's about 5'10" and a half, 5'11", in that range. He's a defensive back, wide receiver, and he looks the part. And as I discussed with him, make sure he puts himself in position to attend some camps, summer camps at some colleges. But the thing he shared to me, and I asked, I said, okay, well, I asked, "Hey, what camps are you planning on attending?" And he said, he has some that he's looking at attending, and his father was, kind of, co-signing, and agreeing and whatnot about, he's doing that as he should. And then he also just went on, as I talked to him, I said, well, you got your video from this season playing football, so be sure you put all that stuff together. And he just said, well, Coach Smith, he's like, my coach, my high school coach, has pretty much wiped away all the video from last football season and this current football season that just ended this academic year. So he was saying, so I'm asking him, like, what? There's no game footage for you on your huddle to be able to use to send to some college recruiters, because that is one thing they're going to ask about you when you go to these camps. Like, hey, send me some video footage, send me some of your information. And it's irritating that he said he has no access to game footage unless, like his parents may have done some. And that's why I tell you, parents, we all have these nice phones, right? That are a great tool, and you should be video recording some of your young athletes, your young lady, your young men as they compete. You need to have your phone out and ready, and when they're in the game playing, you need to be recording some of that. I know it may be hard to record the whole game, but you definitely need to be recording some of their plays. You never know when they're going to make a play, so you should always be recording when they're out there on the playing field in whatever sport they're participating in. But he just shared about how his coach, pretty much these kids at his high school don't have any access to video. Now, if that's accurate, if he's telling me the truth, shame on that high school coach for doing that, because he just took away his young players' opportunity to be able to send out video to high school, to college recruiters for them in football. And that's why I say there's some idiots that don't deserve to be high school coaches in whatever sport it is, whether you're male or female. If you're doing something to that, where you're hurting your young athletes from being able to be recruited to give video and send video out on their huddle link, because that's what all the kids do, right? They take the video that the coach has made available to all of them, and they can make a huddle highlight for themselves, and they can send that link on a questionnaire that they fill out online for any college at any level, for a coach to be able to view them playing. And because every college coach or college recruiter, and for you guys that don't know, every college coach has an area that they're, or areas of responsibility that they have to recruit, and they have grad assistants that help them look over the video footage of their particular athletes, to help um, you know uh, build their recruiting list in their area, at at every position. And so, if this young man is telling me, which I don't think he's lying to me or anything of that nature, that he has no video access of this past season, is very disappointing. And the coach just made it very difficult and hard for this young man to be able to send any kind of footage. I know the coach probably has it somewhere, but it should be kept on huddle. It should be kept there. It shouldn't have, none of their game film should not be on huddle. So wherever the coach is keeping it, I don't understand why he didn't leave it on huddle for his young athletes to be able to utilize it and get game footage and make highlight videos of themselves, or send their best games to a recruiter who's going to ask them that. So that's very disappointing. That's why I do what I'm doing, because I experienced having a high school coach who was more hurtful than helpful in our recruiting. And this is the norm more than you think. There's some, and he told me during their spring football season, he doesn't recall any college coaches visiting the school, and if they did, the coach hasn't told them anything. And he said, the coach really hasn't talked to any of them about what they need to do to get recruited. And so this is what I'm saying. Why are you coaching high school sports if you're not going to, you have some athletes that potentially have the ability to play at some level in college and help fulfill the dream of playing college sports, like this young man that I talked to today in church on Mother's Day. And I told him to be sure to follow with me. But one thing I did say to his dad is that you're going to have to go talk to that coach and have a conversation, because I told the dad, your son has a dream of playing college sports at some level, in football, basketball, or track and field, whatever it is he desires to do, and he wants to play football, and he doesn't have any video. And so I just shared with the father, this is part of why I do what I'm doing, and this is why he needs to go have a conversation with that coach and ask to give film, give video to his son so he could use it to help make videos for his recruiting. And he possibly might need to go have a conversation with the principal or the athletic director as to why the coach took down all the video footage, and these kids that have access to it. And I don't know why some of these people are left with coaching jobs when you're going to do things of that nature. When the NCAA rules, they're going to come talk to that high school coach, whether you're male or female head coach. The rules are, when a recruiter hits your campus, rules are they need to have the head coach um, available to speak to when they come, per NCAA rules, before you can talk to that young man or that young lady. And because of that, you know, you're a person that has some influence on whether this young person gets recruited at any level, whatever it is, whatever it may be. And so that's why I said Love the Game 24/7 is doing what he's doing with Coach Smith, making sure you get some guidance. And so If you parents out there want to know what it is that you need to do, as I shared this story with you, as a young man that I spoke to today on Mother's Day, of the situation that he's dealing with in his recruiting opportunity, with not having access to video footage from this past season and the season before, to be able to have that available to give to college recruiters to evaluate him, and he doesn't have it available to him. This is why I do what I do. And if you want that inside information, if you want to know how to, if you want some help and how to deal with some difficult situations as well as some great situations, when you are getting recruited and need to know how to narrow down the situations, you need to be on my webinar this summer. You need to make sure you register and purchase being on my webinar this summer, come in June, to help guide you, mom and dad, and how you need to help your young person, your young man, your young lady, athlete in your home, on how to help assist them and help you just navigate through this whole thing, whether dealing with a high school coach or dealing with college recruiters. Okay, if you want the insider tips, then you reach out to Coach Smith, your favorite coach on Love the Game 24/7, and be sure to subscribe, be sure to share, right? Be sure to view, okay? Be sure to get all this great content that I'm putting out there to help guide you young athletes, your young athlete, um, through this recruiting process and dealing with a coach or coaches who aren't making it very helpful to you to get to gain exposure. And so stories like this is what just moves me to definitely do what I do. Okay, guys, that's just plain and simple. We can't have things like this. So that's all I want to share. I put 2 kids through college, right? Athlete and non-athlete. 25 years of financial aid experience, right? I'm a current assistant director right now, and teach you about how to be sure when to know when you need to apply your FAFSA, right? For federal aid and state aid and institutional aid is based off that FAFSA, and you need to have that thing processed as early as possible when you have a rising senior in high school. Okay, and so these are the tips and things that you're going to learn about how to help supplement you paying mom and dad for your child's education, for your athlete. Okay, and so be sure you join and register when I give out the information when it's time to register, and it's coming soon. But this is why I do what I do and why you need to be subscribed and following me on subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on IG and TikTok. Help me grow my my subscriber list. Help me get to 1,000 right now. Help me achieve that goal. I got to start out small, and like I said, I'm over 600 followers right now, and I definitely don't think it's a hard goal to get to 1,000, because if you guys out there who know you need some help, right, and some guidance through this recruiting process for your young athlete, you need to be sure you're connected with Coach Smith. Okay, and I'm excited about getting this webinar put together, and giving you guys some great content, great information, and some steps, the insider tips that a lot of you kids aren't getting from your high school coaches. And this is not the first story I've heard. I've heard many. Trust me. When I go to camps and have gone to camps at colleges and talk to the parents, I'm always hearing stuff where coaches aren't helping. And thankfully, the parent is being proactive in getting their young athlete to a college camp to help them in their recruiting process. But people still need to know how to navigate that once that gets going, and because a lot of people really don't know what to do, and I want to help provide those answers and those steps, so you don't have the hiccups, so you can avoid the pitfalls. So I appreciate you guys joining me today. I got to get ready to get on in a little bit to do my other lives on TikTok and Instagram on IG. But once again, you can always find and follow me on all my social media platforms by going to my website at lovethegame247.com. All right, love the game 247, right? The numbers 247.com. Love the game 247.com. Get on there, subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on IG, right? Follow me on Instagram, and get all the great information um, for you and your young athletes through this college recruiting opportunity that they're going to have, and NIL opportunities that they're possibly going to have. And so I appreciate you joining me, And thank you for joining me for this little update on the NFL minicamp with Shadura Sanders and Shiloh Sanders that are doing a great job. Um, and all the things that are happening right now in the NFL with even the veterans right now, a lot of trading going on, that's happening. And so you'll always get some updates and different things like that from me in the pros, in college, and definitely with high school in the recruiting process. So I appreciate you guys joining me for this brief live on YouTube. But help me get to my 1,000 subscribers, as I'm over 600 right now. But help me make that goal. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Until next time, I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day and taking care of your moms. All right. Take care.